Hello and welcome back to the Disc Golf Pro Tour on JomezPro. We are at the Discraft Green Mountain Championships here at Smugglers Notch Resort in Vermont. Just 9 holes left to play. Paul McBeth doing what he does best, just birdieing stuff.
Just everything stuff.
And you got BigSexy Commentary here with you, Nate Sexton, Jeremy Koling.
Yeah, like we said, this is the race for second place at this point. It's been that way since pretty much that 27-hole left stretch. But yeah, McBeth just kind of missing putts and still gaining strokes in the card somehow. Simon Lizotte and Chris Dickerson, actually, they are in a tie with Chris Clemens, who's moved up 5 spots. He's shooting really well through 9 holes. 6 down the front 9 is really good.
Get it started with hole 10, par 3, 295. A little bit of an uphill finish after you get over this little gully. Obi wrapping all the way around the pin and along that right side early on. Forehand a good play here, but also backhand turnover. You just need that little bit of right finish. You can use the hill to control your speed.
And we're going to start the back 9 with the easiest hole on the day, averaging just over 2.5 strokes per player. Paul going super high force. And he told us that was not going to be his play. He said he was going to be throwing a turnover putter. And Chris is going turnover mid. This is looking really nice.
Whoa. And just puts the brakes on in time. That OB line on the inside of the wall is just evil because this does kind of feel like a hole where you're like, I could ace this. But you see there, like, even just maybe a little low, and you still almost went out of bounds.
If you want to ace it, that's the way to do it, with kind of like the way Paul threw it, but maybe in the mix of like that super high and the super low, just in that medium size.
Yeah, if you threw a big Paul forehand hyzer, but you put Jeremy Koling type power on it, I feel like then you might be in the conversation. You might be able to get an ace.
And Simon just going to have a tap in there. Well thrown.
Nice birdie from Nikko.
Thank you, guys. Pretty cool picture.
And if I know Paul, he's just thinking about trying to get to 40 under now.
Mm-hmm.
Just for a little extra fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why not? I mean, there's that motivation that we were talking a little bit about in the front 9. You know, if he has something, a number to shoot for, it could allow him to still enjoy this round and have fun with it. Otherwise, he's just going to pick up birdies and not really care. Like, who wants to do that?
I like to do that sometimes if there's like a leaderboard walking with the group and we got a star frame, so 25 to charity.
Ooh.
I never use my phone during the round, so I never really check in with scores. But if there's a walking leaderboard and say I'm entering the round at 21, sometimes I'll think to myself, if I see 30 on that board today, like we're doing all right. So I just kind of keep checking them off, just try to keep the march towards a number going. And, you know, obviously you try to surpass it if you can. Hole 11, par 4, straight shot off the tee, as much distance as you can manage. Luckily, this dude will push it for 500. Not this time, but just because it's a little low, that's still fantastic. Way up there into a good spot. And then you're going to play that shot down to the right. You got to watch out for the out of bounds near the basket. A lot of trees to navigate through as well.
I learned something from watching Paul play this during round 2, excuse me, where his drive, as Chris catching a high tree there, his drive stayed off what I thought was a little bit too far right, but it actually opened up the angle for the forehand a lot better. Something that I should have noticed in practice, but it gave me the confidence to go sidearm off the tee as opposed to throwing the normal backhand, which brings this into play, and I typically go out of bounds. So I avoided that, got myself a better angle. But that's just from watching Paul play this hole.
That's big.
Yeah, that's a really good shot, and that's even bigger than it looked initially. That's a jump putt down the hill pretty much. I think he's close enough to the wall that he can probably get a P2 over that rock wall.
Chris with that turnover. I don't know that it has the height.
You just really don't want to be that far back because you don't want to get over this hill with speed. That wetland out of bounds area is so close to the basket, and it's downhill the whole way that you just really can't get the speed to get over that hill and also pump the brakes unless you kind of get a lucky tree hit down by the green.
That was great. You see even that shot with good speed control tests the OB line a bit. But he's going to be very happy to see that as he walks up there over the wall. It's kind of always a bit of a surprise. You know, you're walking up hoping to see it next to the basket, but you never really know. All you have is the crowd's applause to go on.
And Paul, a little bit fortunate. That was a little bit wide. I don't think that he was trying to go that wide there. And Simon able to get the jump putt down, but maybe it was so far that it was in between a throw and a putt, which can be a pretty difficult little area to be in sometimes.
Ooh, just low. And I think you're right. I mean, it stands to reason. It's always those in-between shots that are the toughest for us. Like, is it in between a putt and a throw? Is it in between a putter and a mid-range and driver? You know, those are always going to be some of the most difficult shots because you're not in that full commitment mode. You're just sort of still having that little bit of questioning of whether you should step up and try to...
What is...
Whoa.
He's looking at the basket and the disc like, which one messed up?
Yeah.
Was it you or you?
Yeah.
No. Nikko picking up the birdie. It's going to make that 40 number a little bit harder to get to.
Nikko's getting a birdie, but he's wearing bogey face coming off of that green.
What is that?
I don't know what happened. I mean, he nailed that.
Maybe he's just sad for Paul.
You're right. That's what I think it is. Hole 12, par 4, 720 feet. This one, you really have to push this first landing zone all the way out to the tip and get as left as you can to allow you to play that slight hyzer to the basket. If you land to the right, you've got to go force over, backhand, roller. This OB is right here next to the basket, so it's really hard to do any of those shots. You'd really prefer to be able to play that hyzer line. This looks nice as Nikko gets left with it. If you get past those red stakes.
Oh, no. Worst case scenario.
Gosh.
That's going to be such a difficult lie for his footing.
And obviously the staff here did a great job, and they've got a ton of things on their mind. But I did send a message, say, hey, could you move those red stakes? And they said, sure, good idea.
Yeah.
But apparently it couldn't be done. I mean, just so many other things to do. But that's why I was hoping they would be moved, because that's a fantastic drive.
Well,
and now Nikko's going to be a little bit in trouble there with his footing.
What you don't know, Nate, is that I actually made a call right after you had called them, and I said, hey, do you mind leaving those red stakes in? And they're like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And so they did.
Yeah, that shows the pull that you have in this game, man. When you talk, people listen.
Chris is in that bunker. And that's a tough place to be. You know, you think that's a pretty good drive. If you're 5 feet longer, 5 feet shorter, maybe 10 feet on either side, you've got a much better look. And instead, he's got to do a lean out, jump, forehand, and hyzer to just try to get across. And that's one of the tricky things about this drive here. There's just, you got so much open space to land, yet there's so many like little awkward areas where you're just confined.
420-foot putter alert. Didn't quite fly, but man, that's ambitious. Going putter from back there. I mean, I would probably reach for a destroyer from that spot.
Yeah, I just think he's just like ready for this round to be over.
Nikko takes a bit of a slip. Little skip, but that's makeable. Just outside circle 1.
Definitely going to have to dodge a lot of those tiny little saplings up there.
And Simon's going to go MD3. Ooh, getting overstable. Don't think he's going to be happy with that one.
Mm-hmm. Even for Simon, that's a full mid-range throw. I feel like you got to really put a lot into it, and it just kind of didn't look like he put everything behind it.
Paul with a nice effort. And Simon's a hard guy to judge for me because I feel like, you're playing with him, you're like, man, this guy throws so far, incredible, as we see him step up to this, just a little low. And then you'll see him, like, go into show-off mode, and then he goes 100 feet farther than that. And it's like he's even still got that gear that he's not really showing on the course.
Nikko, come on, let's go.
Nikko is bringing it.
Now that's the Nikko of old right there, that jump putt laser beam, and like just out of his hand, he's almost running in to get it out of the basket. That's like vintage 2009, 2010 Nikko Locastro.
And that's a turkey.
And it's pretty awesome when your like mild play is still better than everyone else's, and then maybe somebody upsets you a little bit, and you're just like, okay, fine, I'll go big. And you're like, wait, you haven't been going big?
Hole 13, par 3, 350, blind shot off the tee. You pretty much aim for this power pole and then try to hyzer just before it. That's a good distance read. If you can go just before it, hit this gap and skip down to that elevated basket, you're going to be happy. If you saw it off early, we saw Paul do that and hit that highlight putt that nearly put Jerm in a retirement home. But there are a lot of trees if you saw off early.
This doesn't look sawed off. It just needs to miss those bunker trees there. Oh, yeah, skipping around right up there to the bucket.
He's charging.
Yeah, this is one way to... He's at 23 under. He's still trailing Simon. It just seems like he's playing so much better, but Simon's just in that mode where you're talking about, just kind of confusing you. I think he just needs to pull up some JomezPro round 2 video.
Paul with the mid-range.
Super wide, super overstable. I believe that's the Malta.
Nice shot.
That wasn't mid?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this also looks like a mid-range.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. That was the best shot I think I've ever seen this hole. It just required no luck at all.
Oh, and don't roll. See, we have opposite opinions on what should happen. I said don't roll. Simon is encouraging that roll.
I think somehow he was being sarcastic, Nate.
Oh.
Okay, that's just
a normal Simon 3.
seriously, that is about the most normal 3 I've ever seen from him. I feel like it almost makes an incredible putt. It rolls. He says something sarcastic, and then he goes to a knee and makes a knee on the ground, nose up spin putt. And these other guys are all within 15 feet.
Great drives. Ooh, and that slots into the side of the basket. I think, we just recently had a 1 million plus view video here on JomezPro, and we're pretty excited about it. And I think there's 1 million people out there that want you to do your Simon voice more. And I think there's just one guy, Simon, that doesn't want to hear your Simon voice.
What are you talking about? I don't want to do my Simon. I'm tired.
Hole 14, par 3, 380. This one's got OB on that right side and deep. Big hyzer, good play. Straight shot is even a more pure option. The best gaps are straight at it or on that deep side of the hyzer. If you hyzer in to the right of the drone right now, you're going to need luck. You're going to hit a tree at least half the time, and some of those even roll OB. So Nikko is looking for the straight play, but man, that has slipped out. He's happy about the kick. And Paul likes the straight shot as well. pushing into the trees.
Oh, yeah. You'll like that.
Yep. What's happening here? That's a lot like Nikko's shot,
Yeah.
and that's not at all where you want to be aiming it.
With that angle of release, you'd think that he was going for the big hyzer, but then the way that he threw that looked like he was going for the straight shot. And you got to pick one or the other, obviously.
Huge hyzer here.
The thing I don't like about this play is that right there.
Did it really?
Yeah, I don't like it because if it hits anything, it's dropping down straight, and this hillside rolls. And I tried that play for years, and I had that same result so many times.
What do you throw now? Straight at it?
I just try to go straight at it. I actually was able to pick up the birdie both times in this hole, which I never do. I've never done that before, so I was really happy with that result. But, yeah, that hyzer play is nice if it gets clean, and if it doesn't, it almost rolls out of bounds every time. Oh, Nikko, what an
close.
effort.
Contemplative moment there.
And this is a big putt right here as Simon is going to take the bogey, and that's going to put Chris Dickerson and Nikko at the top of this race for second. And that's only if Chris Clemens isn't continuing his work that he did on the front nine, because he was charging hard with the 6 down front.
Chris Clemens is pushing for double digits right now.
Yeah, he's a few holes ahead of these guys. Or is he on chase card?
Nope.
He's on third card. And with that 6 down through 6 start that he had, he jumped right up into the mix. Simon's going to need a good finish to finish in that top 2 or 3 that I'm sure he's looking for. As Nikko and Chris pick up the par, all with the only birdie in the group.
Hole 15, par 3, 315 feet through the woods. This one goes straight for about 280 and then hard right. Forehand, a good option, turnover as well. But you can see there's a couple fairway trees here. Like the gap is just more narrow than you think it's going to be. I see this one so often, either a little long or a little short with that forehand. I just feel like it's more, you would think that it would get parked a lot more than it does.
Yeah, it is very tricky, and not just hitting this narrow. It's not that narrow of a fairway, but it's somewhat narrow, I guess, when you're coming from playing mostly in the open all day.
This is pushing deep, catches a few trees.
And that was, I think he went with the zone there just for speed control, so he could throw it hard and like right at the point where that disc wants to start hyzering, it's pushing the back edge of the fairway and can fall towards the basket.
Wow, this could be really good.
Yeah, that's how you play this hole. Nikko showing off the skills there with a wide range of skills, being able to throw the forehand and backhand flex shots alike.
Wow, that is such a tight little window for a flex, and he just uses all of the fairway. Beautiful shot. That's one of the best I've seen on this hole.
And look, it was so tight the whole time, but once it got to that gap, right in the middle, showcasing kind of how technical it can be towards the end of the fairway.
And Chris looks like he's liking that idea. Oh, he went for the flex, but he does not hit the fairway. And that is going to be a very difficult par save. Simon, is this too tight?
It's close to being right, but yep.
Just barely.
Just needed the slightest bit of Anheuser angle on that. Or I should say slight bit more, because he did release it with a little bit of turn, but just needed a bit more.
Chris not getting the fade, but fighting through. He's going to have an opportunity. Nice shot.
Minimizing the mistake from Paul. He'll collect the par here, and Simon, he misses his birdie putt. Let's see if Chris Dickerson can save his. 40 feet off the rim.
Whoa.
And that right there is a huge mistake for Simon. A birdie putt turned into a bogey. Par McBeth picking it up. So Chris Dickerson and Simon taking the fours. And just like that, Nikko with the birdie. He's separating himself by 2 strokes with only 3 holes to go.
Mm-hmm.
That is, Nikko's licking his chops right now. That's a huge break for him.
Hole 16, par 4, 715. One of the hardest holes on the property. You have to stay so straight as you go up and over this ridge. You have to land in the middle to have any hope of being able to punch over the OB through the gap and find your way up to the basket. Just so demanding. And I just want to reiterate, Paul McBeth is at minus 36. This is a 72-hole tournament. Mm-hmm. That's half. Mm-hmm. He had a triple bogey 7. Mm-hmm. He's had other bogeys. Mm-hmm. He's missed putts today. Mm-hmm. Still sitting at minus 36 with holes to play in a 72-hole event that has had a lot of wind, obviously a lot of trees. Special stuff we're witnessing.
Really special. Nikko not finding any of those trees that you're talking about.
He might not know it yet, but probably a good break. I mean, you don't want to be in the trees, obviously, but the closer you can get up there to the end of this tunnel, this is just ideal.
I have not seen McBeth throw this anywhere other than like the exact middle of the fairway, just dissecting it.
The command over that straight shot is just so cool. To be able to, you see even Chris, a technician in the woods, usually he's going to hit that shot as well, but nice little reaction off the tree. Mm-hmm. But these guys can make that straight shot look way easier than it is.
Is Simon trying to go out the gap?
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to go for something memorable.
Man,
for
I would
everybody.
love to see him do that. I guess it has to be possible.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about in our group how if Simon were a lefty, he'd try to go out the gap. But as a righty,
that's what I'm. The righty, it's not as easy because you're way down there, and you still need a little bit of right movement. I feel like, and I don't know if that. I mean, I hope he keeps trying. Is what I'm saying. Because I want to see that.
It would be really, really, really cool. Chris Dickerson with a nice advance up to circle 2, and Simon unpunished.
This needs to really hyzer though.
Oh, maybe punished.
Wow.
No, not punished.
Incredible shot.
No way.
From way back in the tunnel.
But in the, off the fairway.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. He's inside circle 2. And there's no OB over there. Paul's going to go into the woods, but not an issue. He'll be able to jump putt out of there and make an easy 4. And Nikko, really well done.
Wow. Really taking... Oh, that was after his layup. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's a good par save.
Ooh, he was going to prove me wrong and make that.
It's a tough par for Paul to take in one of the hardest holes. Just playing it down the middle. I mean, it's only up by, 26 strokes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the more impressive birdies you're going to see.
He was on the wrong side of the rock wall, was he not?
Never even heard of anyone doing that.
Never.
Simon Lizotte, folks. He's impressive.
The game needs you, Simon.
I need you.
That was incredible.
That's a great par for Nikko also.
And that's got to be demoralizing for these guys. 2 holes to go, and that familiar sound. Paul McBeth's private plane flying into the course. Pick up his trophy, pick up his haul of cash, and they're skyward. Him and Hannah just on to the next On to the next one. But that's how it goes. You really got, you have to put up a big fight if you want to keep that plane out of there.
The only problem, you just got to be used to it by this point. But,
It still hurts. It's still tough. Hole 17, par 3, 400, elevated basket. Blind shot. So these guys got to go really high hyzer. Simon MD5.
A lot of angle. That looks a little bit too tight, and that can be in that early skip down the hill towards the out of bounds line spot, but not quite that unfortunate today.
Nice shot. Paul with that mid-range again, well thrown. And Chris looks like he has a driver queued up.
So the scores are in, and Chris Dickerson has come in with an 11 under par, meaning that he is at 27 under par.
So only Nikko with a birdie finish
can tie.
Can tie for second. Okay.
So Nikko needs to make this putt, and he has to birdie the scary hole 18. And
is that good height? The answer is no. It's a little too much.
Maybe it's a little silly and perhaps a bit arbitrary, but there could be the reason Paul's upset is that he's battling for the first ever to get to 1060.
Yeah,
being that he's 1059 rated, each one of these strokes counts. It's all important.
Sure.
And Nikko's up and in for the birdie. He is still in position for that race for second place. Sometimes you don't think about that on the course. Sometimes it is the thing that motivates you to keep fighting when things aren't going your way. Not that things aren't going Paul's way in any respect, but if he needs anything to motivate himself, going for that 1060 could be the thing.
Yeah, breaking records.
And what a seriously ridiculous rating.
Yeah.
Just insane. Never thought that would be something we'd see in our life.
Hole 18, par 4, 775. Just one left to play. These guys, the wind is not bad, so you can play that big hyzer out wide. You just have to swing it back. You'd rather go OB left than right, though, because at least then you can advance and you're going to have a play to the basket. Slightly elevated basket, a little bit of out of bounds that might come into play long if anybody's trying to get aggressive, which I think we might see today. Really important for Nikko to get this inbounds. I'm sure he knows the scores. He knows that he needs birdie, and this is really high. I don't know that this is going to stay in.
Oh,
what?
My goodness.
Okay, he says he's got all the breaks he ever wanted.
I saw the same thing in our group a couple times. One of them stayed safe. One of them stayed on the line out of bounds. Which one do you think I threw?
Probably the safe one. Really high and wide. This should be able to sit. Yes.
That grass really seemed to collect shots. Like you might think, oh gosh, it slopes from the right to left towards out of bounds, but that grass was very thick.
Buckle your seatbelts.
Why? Oh.
Whoa, dude.
Okay.
Missed the trees.
That's not going to hit anything besides the ground. That is so insane. It's just
wow. That is so far.
Yeah, the things he has to do to entertain himself. Entertain the rest of us, too.
P. McBee drifting, but this is going to catch.
No,
it isn't. I thought it would.
And Paul in danger of bogeying for only the fourth time of the event.
Wow.
This being one of the holes.
Nikko, forehand, needs this to sit.
Okay.
Stay in bounds.
Okay,
he's got a chance.
Okay, but that's a long putt. That's maybe 35, 36 feet uphill.
His putter's been working today.
It surely has.
Chris goes a little bit deep. He's going to have a tester as well from just inside circle 1.
Paul just going to lay this Luna up, I'm going to guess, within 4 feet.
We'll give that to you. Great play from Paul. He was not going to be beat this time.
And Simon's got to be going for the 2 here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sit down. Okay.
Oh,
if that
boy.
catches edge, that could have been a disaster.
He's still got a lot of work left.
Yeah.
But he had to run it. Okay, Nikko. 4 second place. A tie of it. A tie with Chris. And just low. And no way.
Just a little bit of a roll. Just enough to make you scratch your head a little bit.
Does he need to make that? Is anybody close enough after Chris for that next putt for Nikko to matter? Or
No.
Okay.
Well, actually, now it is important because Chris making that birdie putt. If Nikko does not make this, he'd be sharing 3rd place.
Okay.
So there's some importance there. And this putt for Simon is to stay in 4th place, and he does collect the birdie.
Well done.
Great event for Simon. Nikko high and in, and 3rd place finish.
Well done.
Great round.
In a year where we really haven't seen Nikko on the tour all that much. You know, he comes in and he shows he never really went anywhere. He's always had the game, and he still does. Well-played tournament. But it's all about Paul.
Just blase, 8 under, missed 5 putts, no big deal.
Yeah, just dominant. Dominant.
Green Mountain champion, Paul McBeth.
And this is his first Green Mountain Championship. This is a title he's been going after, and he finally has it, and all the other ones to go with it.
Yeah.
So, cool
Here
for him.
are our final results from our card. You see Paul minus 36, winning by 9 thanks to Chris Clemens' fire emoji. I think that ties the course record. Minus 11. Huge round. I think 1090 rated preliminarily.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You know us. We got another giveaway. It's swirly. We're ready. And if you're jonesing for more disc golf, we got a midweek release coming your way. The skins match that Jerm and I did live commentary for, $5,000 on the line. That's coming out Wednesday. So get ready for that. You don't have to wait as long as usual. Thanks to Discraft. Thanks to the Founders Club. Thanks to Jerm. Thanks to Jomez. Thanks to the staff and the volunteers. The Green Mountain's a wrap.
Oh, man. There are a lot of things to go around. Beautiful place. Love having you guys here. Check you guys next time. Big Sexy out.